Radical.
Welcome to Flea Market Stories, documenting one man's journey into the world of flea marketing. I just realized I started recording this, and I was talking about my Chevy Impala transmission issues, and that was going to take up about 10-15 minutes before I actually got into the flea marketing. So we're re-recording this. But long story short, on the way there, my transmission was not shifting that well. My check engine light came on, and it's still on right now. So whatever goodness that the Lucas stuff did to that transmission maybe is wearing off. I think it's the pump. But you know what? It didn't drive that bad on the way home from the flea market. It just drove bad there. And it was like 60 degrees, but wet. It was raining this morning. No sun. So on the positive, we're getting into warmer weather. So maybe the car won't act up and kick that much, but I still need to take care of the transmission issue, because I know that's what it is. But I have another issue with the Nissan. I think the alternator might be out on that. So 2 vehicles. I have the money. I just need to find the time because I work so much and I got so many things I'm worrying about right now. So today, honestly, just not focused on this. I wasn't focused on selling it at the flea market. I just was not focused. So on the way there, I made it there with 1 minute to spare before 9, because you got to be there by 9 o'clock. 1 minute to spare. And there was somebody in my spot. So I was like, I know they didn't give my damn spot away. I know they didn't do that shit. Because I was going to go to the main office and say, like, listen, it says I have to be here by 9 o'clock. I have to be here by 9. I was there a minute before 9. So I wasn't going to play with that shit. And then they might pull it out and say, like, well, you have to be set up by 9. I'm like, nah, I set the car up. I'm selling the car. I just say I'm trying to sell the car. It doesn't say what you have to say there, even that's a lie. It doesn't say that. I could pull the car up at the spot and just point to it and say, like, I'm selling this car. It doesn't specify that. You don't have to put things on a table. You pay for the spot and, you're there. You can sell whatever. I could sell some candy in my pocket. It doesn't really matter, right? And maybe I was a bit rude when I walked up and there was a female, honestly, kind of cute, so maybe me being rude I don't think anything was going to happen there. That's Rick in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever I see an attractive female, I'm thinking, okay, she's not married, so maybe something can happen. I don't know, But I basically just told her, not in my Sheldon voice, you're in my spot. I don't know how I said it. Like I said, because I was focused on the transmission, I was just worried there. I'm like, okay, can the car get here? Maybe if it gets here and I sell a lot today, then that'll help maybe some of the cost if I have to take it into the shop or something. She moved. And I don't know where she moved. I think she moved. I don't know. Maybe I know what she did. She went around and she moved in a different parking area and she probably walked back. But they were new there, and I will let the office know in the future if they can. Not that I want to complain now, because I don't want to. They're nice people. I talked to them later. The one person actually broke some money for me, gave me some ones because I forgot ones, but then I gave them bags. I was just in a bad mood. You got to understand, I was in a bad mood. I didn't mean to be mean, and it's not like they intended to. They didn't know. Maybe they didn't tell people that one car, one spot. But they had 3 people taking up 2 different spots. And this is one more reason. I mean, if I can, I work late at the other job. I work late. So I have to get home. I have to get everything ready. I got to sleep at 4 a.m. I wake up at 8 a.m. And then I take a shower. I go get my food stuffs before I go there, make it there 1 minute to 9. And like I said, transmission not doing that good. And then someone's in my spot. So you can imagine like how I was feeling there. Already raining. I mentioned that, right? Did I mention it was raining? Yeah, raining. So the minute I step out, I get like not very deep, but deep enough to where there's a cake of mud on the bottom of my shoes. No one likes to have mud on their nice shoes. So I'm tracking mud everywhere. And I think, oh, great. So car's going to be filled with mud, and I have to keep going and sinking to get stuff out of the car to set up. And I think to myself, okay, this is why a lot of these people don't show up, a lot of the vendors, when it's raining. But no, I was there to sell. I was. And was it a good sales day? Maybe 70. I think I did maybe 70 on this day, which was not that bad considering it was raining. Like I told y'all before, when it's raining, you don't do that well. It wasn't cold and raining. A week prior to this, less than a week prior to this, I was freezing my ass off. It was cold. So there was such a big swing, which is positive, which is nice. They were nice people. They were. I talked to them. They were selling some foodstuffs. The line, though. There's a line to the right. Had to move my table more to the left. It's not terribly an exciting flea market story. This is flea market stories. I'm telling you all what you have to deal with if you become a flea marketer, okay? So I have my table set up, and I have lines to the left and the right of me. The table's almost all the way, not all the way to the right, but there's a good little ways off from the right. And then the left is open because I want to have my other table at the back with my 360 stuff. And I'll mention something else after I mention this. To the right, there was an old lady, and they didn't know the rules. And it's not my place to tell them the rules, which is did they even walk them? I don't know if they walked them and show them. You have the lines here. You do not encroach yourself or your stuff past the lines. Don't go over the lines. No, but if I did this, they could quickly mention that the electrical connection is technically on their line. So I didn't want to cross the line with them because they can shut down my whole operation when it comes to the video gaming or anything by just stating that. And they actually would be right. That's the one thing I hate about that spot is that, it's an okay spot and whatnot. I'll skip ahead. My buddy to the left of me that sells necklaces, which I bought a necklace from and I'm wearing. Nice necklace for $5. It's like he calls it like a black bullet necklace. Looks like a bullet, but it's black. It's nice. It's light. I like this necklace. $5, great deal for it. Well, he has a big red truck, and he saw instantly that he had to be really careful to back up to not hit my vehicle because they've started a whole chain reaction to where everyone's off. And I don't know what they can really do at the office to help that other than just telling people that, one spot is for one vehicle. One vehicle, one spot. And some of this is on me. Like, if I had my stuff prepared better, then when I got home, I wouldn't have to stay up till almost 4 o'clock. I would get there early, an hour early, and I would be in my spot. And then I would park in the middle of my spot to keep anyone from double, triple stacking their vehicles. You should saw it. It was so close. I had to be really careful opening my doors to get my stuff out. That's another aspect. So on the way there, transmission acting up. When I get there, someone's in my spot. So I have to wait for them to get out of my spot. Then I get into my spot, and then I'm thinking, okay, I have to rearrange the table because grandma's over to the right of the line. So I had to move my table a little bit to the left. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe this guy's not going to show up, my buddy to the left, but then he shows up. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way for me to get my TVs, my table, my game stuff, all this stuff out without, sinking into the mud. So I'm kind of like tiptoeing around the areas that's not really muddy, which is not that much. And then I get to the point where I'm building everything together. I'm just in a bad mood because everything's off. Granted, though, not a lot of customers there, so I had plenty of time to set everything up. Should I spare some of the details? Should I make sure to check this auction and see where we're at on here? Yeah, I'm also on Goodwill Online multitasking. Okay, where are we at on this auction bid? Okay, I got about 14 minutes. Okay, that's not too high either. I think I might go for that right there. Okay. Sorry. Um, so on this day, at least I didn't have the one guy coming over trying to sell me stuff. And quickly, to anyone coming to sell me stuff, I basically tell them straight up, like, listen, I might have an expensive transmission job in my future. So not buying, but I might be trading. Going over the day, I mean, not eventful. I would say there's two things I'll pull away from this day. There's many things I could talk about on this day, but one thing is that I'm glad that I invested in CDs because I sold some CDs and I sold them at prices I didn't really expect to sell CDs at. The Monkees, Best of the Monkees, sealed, $5. Midnight Marauders, A Tribe Called Quest, $4. I mean, that's a lot at the flea market for a CD, I think, anyways. What else? So, A Hootie and a Blowfish for $5. And what was the other one? Oh, the big shocker. Flashback Casey and the Sunshine Band, $5. Let's zoom ahead to the title of this DVD, Full Frontal. Now, Full Frontal is what I call, it's not what you're thinking of. Full Frontal is what I call the area of the front of your table that meets the eyes of customers, the actual front of your table. A lot of people put their most expensive items on the front of their table to try to sell the expensive items. Okay, that was loud. You hear that? Okay. They put the most expensive items to the front. And I think I'm going to go with that strategy. On this day, I beefed up my DVDs, and I had 9 DVD trays. I put them on the front, mostly because I knew this would be the last weekend of an elderly couple that comes by, and they buy DVDs from me every single week. I know I'm always going to get some DVD sales because they're there looking through the DVDs every single week. In fact, last week I sold them 2 big DVD cases to hold some of their DVDs they've been buying from me. They have been the bulk of my DVD business. But now that they have went away, at least until October, my DVD business is closed. I'm not putting a lot into my DVD business. DVD business is pathetic compared to games, music, arguably comics, but games have been mostly what I'm selling. Now today, I have become profitable on the music CDs. I have. And we're talking 4 or 5 times profit. I pay $1 for a CD. I get 4 or 5 in return. That is good business right there. That is good business. Speaking of that, well, I'm just going to mostly try to wrap this up because I could go long with it. So they got, the DVD people, half of what they got was CDs. So CDs versus DVDs, there's no competition for me at least. That's what I learned on this day. So I'm going to cut back on the DVDs. I think Full Frontal, I don't have enough CDs to go Full Frontal tomorrow, but I'm going to go games. I'd like tomorrow to be a big sales day, so I'm going to put everything forward, the nice stuff. And I don't know what I'm going to do with DVDs in the future. Maybe I'll do a clearance closeout bin. I just have a lot of them. Even the sold ones, some of them don't sell. So they're just kind of like an anchor, I think, holding down my business. Now, there's some that sell, like I've said, Fast and Furious DVDs. Yeah, like a John Wick might sell. Like Super Mario DVDs. Those will sell. Pokemon. But it has to be specific. Whereas music, I can sell the Monkees. How relevant are the Monkees, right? I can sell some Casey and the Sunshine Band. That's some old music right there. I can sell that. It seems in some cases, the older the music, the better the music. I mean, realistically, yeah. But I was thinking like, okay, is anyone really here going to pay $5 for a Casey and a Sunshine Band? I mean, last night I was like going like, should I price it at 4 or 5? Yeah, price it at 5 and it sold. So I'm excited about that. Music is kind of universal, I will say. Now, towards the end of the day, that one guy come by that always tries to sell me or offload his DVDs and stuff of that nature. And he was asking if I had any food. So I'm thinking, okay, I know the way to control this guy. I did bring some food. I brought a lot of Fiber One cookies that somehow they just make me feel really weird. They do. Something in them, I'm not sure. But I had multiple boxes of them that I couldn't take back because I didn't have the receipts and it had been past the time. And this is kind of funny right here. Let's see if I have time to go into this. I'm going to update this auction here. Will I have time to go into the story real quick? Yeah, I got just enough time. So he's sitting there, and I'm telling him my transmission issues, basically, and he gets the idea, okay, I'm not going to try to sell anything today because transmission issues. And then I say, I got something for you. And he sits down on one of my benches. He starts eating one of the cookies, and he's talking to me. I think he eats another cookie later. He's not huge, but he's a chubby guy. He's a chubby dude, right? He's talking to me, and he looks kind of like just like a kid in a way. He says he eating those cookies. He's happy to eat the cookies. And then someone else comes over, sees him eating the cookie, and then I forget. I thought he knew the person. She's another vendor. But she came over, and she took a cookie. I said, you can have a cookie. But she thought that to mean a box of cookies. And I tried to, she said, are they in date? And I didn't, he looked at me in a way, and I was honest. I said, like, yeah, they are. But he was trying to say loudly, like, no, they're expired. It's because he wanted the cookies. The minute I gave him the box of cookies, he seemed to get, he knew her. He liked her as a vendor, like they were friends. I said, that was your friend, right? But he kept going, yeah, she took cookies, though. She took a box of cookies. I didn't know that she actually came back. And the bitch took 2 more of the 7 boxes of cookies in there. Because she asked if she could have another one. Generally, if you ask if you can have another one, it means like another cookie, not a box of cookies. So I was in agreement with him, like, man, that's a greedy fucking bitch. But then I thought to myself, okay, she's out here selling, like, all she has is like used shoes she's selling, and I looked at her vehicle, and it's like, you know what? Sometimes you got to give people the cookies. Sometimes. And then look at him and his vehicle and all the stuff he has in his vehicle and his storage building. He's a hoarder. He has a problem. He does. And then he left, and he said he had to pick some stuff up to put in his building. I've seen his building. I don't know how the hell he has any room left in his building. He is bursting at the seams. He went to talk to some people on the adjacent side, and then I'm closing up everything for the day. I look behind me. I see him, and unstrapped, he's driving really slow, unstrapped on his car, tons and tons of boxes on the hood, on the top of the car, on the trunk. The only place he doesn't have boxes is in front of his windshield, right in front. And I think he might have had some where he was, I don't know. I tried to not just look and glare, but I gave one look like, what the hell? Yeah, it's like he didn't have anything strapped on the vehicle. I'm surprised he didn't fall off. It has another guy helping him. I'm thinking like, man, in every way, sense of the word, he's a glutton. I also ask him, because I have a friend that gets stuff from a vendor for free, and that's where I got him. I gave him some jerky last week. He asked what else I got. I'm like, things like Twizzlers. And as he's leaving, I say, do you like Snickers and stuff of that nature, Milky Ways? And then he smiles really big. He's, oh yeah, I do. So I'm like thinking, man, everyone's got their weakness. My weakness, of course, the ladies. Yeah, that's my weakness, just admittedly. His weakness is food, right? So that might be useful to know in the future when I'm doing trading with him and whatnot. I think basically, since I get some of this stuff for free and whatnot, the food and whatnot, I think I just might start, giving him stuff every Saturday. And then when he brings something to me, I go like, hey, you remember who gave you those Hostess ho-hos and ding-dongs and Twinkies? You remember how yummy they were? And he'd be like, okay, here's some video games.